Thank you all for joining this session. So it may be for the first time, some of you might be hearing that astrology has a connection with autism. For those of you who don't know much about astrology, I will be covering in a very brief and short way about that also. So how we will do explanation of. I have prepared some slides explanation. So what is the relation of astrology and autism in 25 minutes, and then we can take some questions also. So astrology is basically the study of the movements and relative positions of planets. So how the planets are moving in the celestial system, the tracking of those movements with respect to our birth chart is what is astrology. So our life, the sorrows or the happiness in our life is governed largely by the movement of these planets. The belief on this system is very relative, and it depends on experience. So if you have had experience of this in your family, maybe from your elders, then you know about this. But if you do not have, it's not a problem. And definitely believing or not believing is not going to change something drastically in your life. It is only that it is a diagnosis which can help us to plan in a better way our future and our life. So this is what in all overall astrology is. Now, over the time, astrology has been used in in predicting about career, in predicting about marriage, in predicting about wealth, health also. But I have been doing astrology now from the last 15 years, but I have never come across particular astrology for mental health or particular astrology for autism. So I went into this detail when my son was diagnosed with autism, and I studied his chart. And then I studied the chart of some parents whose kids are in the spectrum, and then I could find some relation between autism and astrology. So why this relation is important? It is because that once you develop a pattern, once you have something in your hand that okay, with this combination you can decode some part of autism through astrology, then also you can suggest some remedies which can be done. So if astrology is helping for other parts of life, like if it is helping someone in planning their marriage, in planning their job, in planning their wealth, then certainly it should help parents like us if we could use astrology in a better way to make the life of our kids better. So that is why we are doing this session today, to just give you a very brief about it. And we also have I also have some videos on my channel which I will tell you at the end, where you can go through that also to know about it in more detail. So how does a typical this is for those who have no idea about astrology. So how does a typical horoscope? So a horoscope is formed when you have a date of birth, a date of time and place of birth. So with those details we get a chart like that, what you can see on the screen. So in that chart there are you can see 12 squares. It's a big square in which there are 12 partitions. So these partitions are called houses. So these are 12 houses, and in all we have 9 planets. So these 9 planets are positioned in 12 houses, and the positioning of these 9 planets in the 12 houses is what a birth chart or a Naumasa chart looks like, which defines our future as per astrology. So these now the position of these 9 planets is dependent upon how these planets are transiting in the sky. So right now also when we are talking, we have planets in the sky which are in motion continuously, and the speed of these planets depends upon the size of these planets. So if you have a Jupiter and Saturn, they transit very slowly. We have a moon which transits very fast. The example of moon is that every 15 days you will see vaccine, and every 15 days the moon rises and the moon sets down. So this is because moon is transiting. Okay. Now when moon is transiting, it is as per astrology, during transit it is in different we call it nakshatras. Okay. So when it is in different nakshatras, those nakshatras correspond to the different signs, and the numbers in those signs are then interpolated on this square which you can see, and then this horoscope is formed. So when you were born, at that time there was a certain position of these planets. the position of these planets with respect to at that time when put on this piece of square which you can see in front of you gives your birth chart. So everyone, like your DNA, so everyone has a unique birth chart. So everyone who is right now, if anyone is getting born, so depending upon the position of the planets, his birth chart will be created. So even if there is a difference of 1 minute or 1 second, so you will see a lot of difference in the birth chart. So that is why we all are different. So this slide is only to give you the technical fundamental of what is astrology, what do we do in that. So what is a chart? Okay, so it is a chart is a depiction which you can see in front of you, which has 12 houses and 9 planets. Now see in astrology there has been great research which has went, and in the 12 houses, these 12 houses have significance. The first house is you as mean your personality, how you are. Second house is speech, your family, wealth. There are a lot of other things also. I have just mentioned a few. Third house is sibling and communication. Fourth house is education and mother. Fifth is higher education, love life, speculation. Sixth is disease. Seventh house is your marriage. Eighth is the secret part of your life. Ninth is luck and father. 10th is your career. 11th is the friends you make and the investments that you do. And 12th is losses in your life. So as I said in the previous horoscope, then the distribution of these planets in the different boxes now will determine how your life is going to be. So you can see now in the chart also you would have got some very faint idea why this can make some relation with astrology. Like I said, in second house is speech. So a very big problem in autism is that my child doesn't have a proper speech. Okay. Then the third house is communication. So communication, we can also now, so that from this chart we can define the communication of a child. Okay, so I will come to that in the later slides. I just want to give you a brief idea that how these parts later can tell us from the horoscope of a child how to decode that that what grade of autism he might have as per astrology. After this chart, the other thing that we see is what is a Dasha. Dasha is the planet. You don't need to go in much detail, but Dasha is basically the transit planets under which you are influence of. Okay. Namasa chart is another chart. It's just I am just giving a brief about you. No need to go into detail. And planetary transit is the current transit which is right now undergoing in the celestial space. Now let's see why this how autism is related to astrology. So the main thing which as a parent we need is happiness from child. So when we have a boy or a girl as our child, what we desire from that is happiness and general happiness, and this happiness can be identified from your horoscope. So how is your general happiness, or do you have happiness from your child? So this can be decoded from your horoscope. Okay. And if you don't have what can you do to increase that happiness quotient? Okay. So because eventually whatever work we are doing for our child, it is to increase that happiness quotient. Okay. That is with respect to us, the parent. Now, what are the points for our kids? Like for our kids, what we see, some kids have speech problem, some kids have problem of socialization, and some kids have problem of general happiness. With respect to autism, you see that the problems are speech, socialization, communication, education. There is attention problem. Because of that, there is education problem. Some kids have eating habits which restrict them to eat properly. Hyperactivity is a very major topic, and I am telling you, you can find it from horoscope also. And then there are remedies. If done properly, you can dilute them to a certain extent. Hypoactivity, some kids are not taking actively part, and that is how they are not improvising also. And then there is indifferent behavior or abnormal behavior. So when we are in a public place, we see that our kids are not behaving properly. So that is a indifferent behavior or abnormal behavior, and that also can be identified from the horoscope of a kid. It has been possible earlier also. Like this is not a new thing, that like I said from the earlier slides, that speech, socialization, communication, education, these are already part of the horoscope that we are studying and diagnosing right now also, that we are predicting right now also. So these are not new things. The only thing is that certain relation we have been able to make some certain relation with respect to these problems which our kids have, for which we are doing their therapies, for which we are maybe taking them to neurological doctors. So I will tell you a very interesting thing, that why, because I read when this session was announced, that I read some people said this may be a waste of time. What is astrology going to do? See, astrology is not going to solve your problem, but astrology may tell you, and it's not me, you can consult anyone, it may tell you that what is the therapy, if the therapy that you're doing is right. Maybe your problem does not your kid does not have a speech problem. His vocal cords, his throat is all fine as per horoscope, and you also feel that because you are living with him day and night, but you are still doing speech therapy with him. Maybe he doesn't need a speech therapy because his vocal cords are fine. Maybe he needs a behavior therapy. Okay. And maybe you need to tone down his hyperactivity. So you are okay in giving him some medicines which are creating a side effect when he may not need, because as per astrology, his band of mental illness is not that much. So you can also try using the knowledge which is in our Vedas of our astrology for reducing the quotient of hyperactivity so that his speech can improve. Then the other part is socializing. So I am not saying that with this remedy I can make Rahul Gandhi Narendra Modi. So Rahul Gandhi will remain Rahul Gandhi and Narendra Modi will remain Narendra Modi. Okay, so Rahul Gandhi has speech problem, he has communication problem, we all know. And Modi on the other side has different things. It is because of their different horoscopes. But with certain remedies, we can create, we can improvise. We can improvise on the already hard work that we are doing on these kids by first of all identifying that on the scale of like my doctor or my therapist is saying is a severe case of autism or is a mild case of autism. So I can cross check and then accordingly I can use the remedies to my effect, and to see, or also I can see that how long this problem is going to remain. So I will just I will just want to give you some brief knowledge also, so that you yourself can see the chart and also decode for yourself how to see if there's a problem or not. So fourth house denotes general happiness in a person. Okay, so if your fourth house is afflicted, if you have a bad planet in your fourth house, that means generally you are always devoid of happiness. Then if your fifth house is also afflicted, that means you will also be devoid of happiness from your progeny, that is from your kid. So overall, if fourth and fifth house in your horoscope, I am not talking in the kid's horoscope, in your horoscope is affected, that means you will have limited happiness from your kid. But that does not mean that your kid will have autism. It can be there can be other reasons also. Okay, so but then how to identify that? Then we'll have to see the kid's horoscope. So then when we see the kid's horoscope, then apart from the chart that I showed you above, apart from the houses that I told you, we need to see the main planets and their characteristics. So the main planets of our interest are Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, Rahu, and Moon. So Mercury is a very important planet because it is the planet of speech and communication. So those parents who have this problem of communication, that see, there are two problems. Please remember, there are two problems. One is my son is not speaking. Another is my son is not communicating. So there are two different things. As per astrology, there is a differentiation. Speech can be proper, but communication may not be. Communication is that he is not able to maybe ask his demand properly. He can speak that demand. He knows that word, but he is not able to communicate that. Okay. So it will depend upon how the Mercury is placed in the horoscope. What is the affliction to the Mercury? How is the placement of second and third house? Now coming to Jupiter. Jupiter is a very important planet when it comes to autism, because Jupiter gives balance in your life. Okay. So if your child, you see that your child is not communicating much, is not speaking much, but your child is aware of the surrounding. Your child applies proper, I would say, wisdom to certain things. He understands your emotions. He is not able to react. He doesn't know how to react, but he understands. So that means his Jupiter is not bad. His Jupiter is helping him. I will come to Saturn later. First come to Mars. Mars, very important planet for those who have this problem of hyperactivity. So because Mars, Mars is color red. So wherever Mars is there, it means accidents. Okay. So Mars, if your child has a hyperactivity to a certain extent that he's banging his head, he's banging his head, he doesn't identify obstacle in front of him. So every time you have a fear of him getting injured, that means his Mars somewhere is afflicted. So you need to do some remedy for his Mars. So whenever we in a normal horoscope, if someone meets an accident, the first thing that we check is Mars. Okay. So, and I have seen the many horoscopes that I have seen. So I have seen this relation of Mars with respect to hyperactivity. So that's why then I suggest the remedies. But then remedies are suggested based. We have to see horoscope in that, because sometimes the remedies, sometimes the stone can also affect negatively if it is not suggested properly. The other planet that comes into play for mental health is Rahu. Rahu is a very important planet because it gives divergence. So if you see that your child is so suppose Rahu is affecting the house of communication, then he would be his communication would be slippery. Words will not be clear. He would be speaking, वो बात करना चाहता है, वो बात कर रहा है, but words are not clear. So Rahu is not making the words clear. So when he is in a public place, he would be fine, but suddenly he would do something that you would be amazed. किसको क्या हो गया था? So that is Rahu. So that means Rahu is affecting him in some way. Okay. Then is Moon. So Moon generally is an important planet. Psychologically, Moon is linked to psychologics. But Moon, if an afflicted Moon will not give you that much problem in autism, although other astrologers will tell you. But Moon, because Moon generally is a good planet, it is not giving major problems. So even if Moon is bad and Jupiter is good, then the traits of autism will not be that much. Even if Jupiter is good but Saturn is bad, then the traits of autism will be much more evident, because Saturn is one planet. If it conjoins or if it is if it is affecting Mars, you can see these all are your neighbors. So and if you are in if your kid is with playing in with any of these neighbors, the effect of these neighbors is going to affect your kid. So Saturn is one of the neighbor. If he is with Mars, then the probability of accident increases. If he is with Mercury, then the probability of not speaking increases. Okay, so Saturn amplifies everything. But if it is bad, if it is good, if it is healthy, then it will not. So that we can check from the horoscope. So main houses of interest, as I said from the beginning, for autism, we have to see the first, second, fifth, and third. First, because personality is very important. So unfortunately, we also see some kids who have some personality disorders also. So that can be identified from first house. Speech can be identified from second. As I said, fifth is your socialization, and from your horoscope, it is your progeny. And third is the communication. So when we see all these in together, I am not talking about 6th, 8th, and 12th house. I don't want to confuse you much. But these or those houses are also seen because they are with respect to disease, with respect to hidden problems, with respect to major afflictions. But if we see these 4 houses and the other planets, we can somehow get an idea, get a pattern, and also suggest some remedy. And I would say the minimum that we can assume is that yes, my child is in that range, and what is the thing that I might have to do. Okay, so now I will. This is my last slide for where I will suggest some remedies for hyperactivity. We'll do remedy for Mars, as I said. So a Mangal Yantra can be worn on Tuesday. For communication, a remedy for Mercury should be done. So feeding cow on Wednesday will certainly have. Do this remedy for 42 days. If you feel that your child is not cognitive, this is one thing that you hear often. Then wearing yellow clothes on Thursday would be fine. For meltdowns or indifferent behavior, do remedy for Jupiter, or just try wearing silver to your kid. For too much laziness in doing anything or self-inflicting danger, I would suggest doing a Shani Dev Puja on Saturday. So these were all my slides, and so I could only sum up all this in these 20 minutes, 25 minutes. If you have any questions, you can reach to me, or if you want to share, if you want to check your horoscope of your kid, you can in the Myski app. I am doing this for free. There is a Vedic Connect. You can quote the details, and I will check and I will tell you the level of autism and also the remedy. That was all. Thank you. If you have any questions, please ask me.
Sir, what is the name of the app you mentioned?
Sir, can you be a little louder?
Sir, you mentioned an app. Can you tell me the name?
So this app is basically My Special Kid. Sir, this is an initiative by us where we are trying to do everything free of cost for us. Where we are trying to bring in therapists and all, and astrologers, psychologists, neurologists, so that we get over this problem as soon as possible. Anyone asked you anything regarding astrology, regarding the link, regarding any problem that they are facing? Because we have this problem in Zoom of 45 minutes time, so the meeting may expire in another 10 minutes.
Sir, will you share the recording, sir?
Yeah, you can see this recorded. Otherwise, I have a channel on YouTube named by Joshua Vertical. There is a detailed video on this on that YouTube channel. As I told you, if you want your kid to be analyzed, I'm doing it for free. You can post the details on this app. There's a Vedic Connect where the details will come to me, and I will reply you there, and you will get the answer, and also remedy.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
But what I am telling you, therapy and all, we all have to do. I am also doing it for my kid. But this will only help you. Maybe you are doing right, so this will tell you, yes, your direction is right. Maybe it will tell you that your son or your girl is going to be fine in this year and he doesn't have this problem, so you can focus on that.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me.
Yes, I'm listening.
Sir, where can I post the birth chart
Can you
of my son?
Can you repeat? Where can
I post the birth chart?
You don't need to post chart. So you just download the Myski app. There you just put that birth details, date of birth, date of time, and place of birth. I will see the chart and I will answer.
Only childs or mother, father, both?
And actually, I am in the Myski app. It is only for the child. So we are all helping for the child, for our kids. If you want to do your personal assessment, then you can go to my website. I am doing it free there.
What is the website detail?
It is joshuavertical.com. Alka will share you on the groups.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So I think if there is no more question, then we can end this session. Please give your feedback. If you want to do one more session, I am willing to do that. If you want, as I said, if you want more details, you can go to my channel. You can watch the video there. If you want some particular detail, I can do n number of sessions for you guys to help us all. If you on your own account can help us with some of your knowledge, we invite you also to do sessions for other parents. If you want your kids' birth chart to be analyzed, please put the details on Myski app. If you want yourself to analyze everything for free, please go to my website joshuavertical.com. Details will be in the group shared by Alka. Thank you all. Thank you for joining.